Hi there, Suzanna here with a video on the thorny question of to be or not to be a social entrepreneur. Well, UK coach Daniel Priestley once said that there are 5 harsh truths you need to know about before becoming an entrepreneur. And they are: 1, it is hard and it gets harder. 2, no one is coming to save you. 3, there are no big wins, just incremental progress. 4, doing the work you love first needs you to win that work. And 5, there is no foolproof system that will work for you. Now, while I agree with this, I also feel very strongly that there's another much more important harsh truth that needs to go at the beginning, and it's this: deal with your inner saboteurs or find another way to earn a living that doesn't put your financial security and well-being quite as much at risk as this one is capable of doing. Until you do, your inner saboteurs will block your vision and your success with that vision. So, first things first, as one of the 3 most powerful drivers of your personal development, your vision is going to test you to the limit, and then it's going to take you well beyond what you think your limit is, and the choice is yours how you want to react to that. But stay with it, because for the moment you get of really excruciating pain at times, the rewards are so well worth it, as we know, don't we? Because we've all listened to amazingly inspiring coaches and other entrepreneurs who earn 7-figure incomes. And it's wonderful because they share with us, they keep us going at times by explaining the rewards that we'll get and how magnificent they are. But how do you get from where you are now to where they are now? That's the question, isn't it? Now, they might be good at inspiring, they are great at inspiring, but I think there's an aspect that works against them, and that is the more we move up in an organization, be it our own or someone else's, the more we lose touch with the daily difficulties of the people who aren't working at the same level as us, who are working at levels below us, because we're no longer fully immersed in them every day. We've got a new set of our own that we're fully immersed in. So that means that coaches like this aren't so good at breaking down the steps into really simple shifts that you can make and that work. But I do. It's my passion, actually. I haven't forgotten those steps, because for the last 40 years I've been making notes about those steps. Weird, possibly, but enormously helpful, because I had hugely toxic inner saboteurs and I needed to get very serious with them. So I've made steps of every single mindset shift I have ever taken. What worked, what didn't, how I modified it, when I modified it, what happened. And when it really did the job I needed it to do, then I set about trying to reduce it to its simplest, barest essential. Now, it wasn't long before friends and colleagues started noticing what I was doing and coming to me and saying, "Will you show me what you're doing, because I really love what's happening to you, it's absolutely fantastic." So I did it with them, and I also made a note of their findings. And then about 15 years ago, I started doing it with clients as a professional mindset mentor. And what I'm about to tell you, I'm telling you is 100% certain, okay? And it's this: it is often the smallest thing, the smallest change you make in your thinking and in your behavior that makes the biggest difference. Because some of the steps that you take that at the time seem totally insignificant turn out to be hugely beneficial. Why? Because over time their benefits have grown and grown and grown without you perhaps even noticing them. So when it comes to your inner saboteurs, what sort of benefits or rewards can you see? Well, let's start with the first 4, because they start to come fairly quickly in the first few weeks and months of you learning the skills that you need to transform the war zone in your head into a collaboration zone. So the first one is this: you're going to start recognizing that it's becoming far easier for you to do certain things where before they were stressful. They're now not nearly as stressful, and sometimes they're even no big deal. I just did that, no problem at all. Okay, you'll recognize this when you start hearing yourself say, wow, I couldn't have done that a week ago, I couldn't have done that a month ago. And that's great news. You're getting your reward. Okay. 2, the second one is, as you give your inner saboteurs less control over your thoughts, you'll start finding that you're having healthier relationships, particularly with yourself and your vision, which is what this is all about as an inner saboteur, as a social entrepreneur, isn't it? Because it's going to make a lot of people very, very happy, particularly those people who have been patiently waiting for you to step up and commit to doing whatever it takes to create the influence and success you need for your work to reach these people and for them to be able to benefit from your skills and experience. 3, reducing your self-sabotaging thinking makes your decision making, well, it revolutionizes it actually. First, you'll find that it's simpler. Okay, it's not so much of a war zone. It's certainly more effective, and it's much more enjoyable because you're actually using information from a much broader range of sources. You're no longer solely dependent on the voice of your inner saboteur that's saying, no, impossible, can't do, you'll make a mess of it. Are you joking? You must be mad. You're now listening to the voice of the people in the past who have complimented you. All those compliments that have been stored in your brain are now ready to be used. And that's fantastic because you start saying, well, actually, that's not true because so-and-so said this. So you're starting to reality check your thoughts, and that makes decision making so much easier, so much more effective and enjoyable. And the 4th reward that you're going to see in a fairly quick time is the better your decision making gets, the more you trust yourself. And the more you trust yourself, the easier it is to dismantle the roadblocks that your inner saboteurs and their no, can't, impossible, hopeless thinking created years ago. And you've become so used to it that you think there's nothing you can do about it, that it's just part of you. Nothing could be further from the truth. And you will know when you've reached that point, when you listen to something and you start saying, I don't believe that, that's not true. I'm going to stop saying that because it doesn't reflect who I am. 4 rewards that you can get in a fairly quick space of time that are not even half the rewards that come from doing this work, because you find that it's like a cascade. It just a snowball running down a mountain. It just gets bigger and bigger, the rewards. So I'm going to leave you with the question I started with: to be or not to be a social entrepreneur? Do you want a quiet life? Fine. Go find a job that doesn't risk, that gives you the satisfaction you're looking for, but that doesn't risk your financial and physical well-being. But if you do want to be a social entrepreneur, then give yourself permission to be tested to your limit over and over again, because that's the way you acquire the skills you need to turn that zone in your head that's become a conflict zone into a collaboration zone. That's it for me this week. I'm going to be back next week with another video on my passion. What else? How to transform the conflict in your head into collaboration. See you then.